Okay. Thank you, Palani. So first of all, thank you everyone for joining this session. So today's topic is unleashing the power of a coded workflow automation and UiPath Studio and its other new features of UiPath. Okay. So let me present my screen. Are you able to see my screen, everyone, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I just wanted to give a self introduction about myself actually. So I'm having a 12 years of IT experience and 8+ years of it RPA domain. I'm currently working as a technical manager intelligent automation at Asable Group, and I am UiPath MVP 2023 with my fellow great MVPs Palani and Lalasa, Jobin, and William and others. So I am an active UiPath forum member and a multiple time UiPath forum award winner. Okay, so I'm a AI enthusiast and I'm exploring a lot about artificial intelligence and ML concepts, and also having knowledge in multiple OCR tools like Abby, FlexiCapture, and other tools in market. And also I have automated more than 100 RPA process with the multiple RPA tools, mostly with the UiPath. So this is my automation journey. And thank you, Palani, Lalasa, for this great opportunity. So I just put one more slide, show my gratitude about these guys actually. So here our organizers, Lalasa, Palani, and Rohit and Weber, UiPath managers. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So today agenda of the event, starting with the welcome note, and after that introduction to UiPath Studio and its significance in RPA industry, and overview of the latest features of UiPath and enhancements in the recent version of the UiPath, and understanding the benefits of the coded workflow automations. And also I just wanted to show a small live demo about how can we build a coded workflow automations by using UiPath Studio. And at the last, so forum is yours. I mean, you guys can ask a question and answers. Okay. So moving on to the next slide. So welcome note, guys. So welcome to this UiPath virtual event. So we are very delighted to have you guys for this exciting gathering. And also thank you so much for being a part of this virtual event. So let's explore together about the interesting concepts we have arrived in this recent UiPath version. And a big welcome to you guys, and let's get started. Okay, so introduction to the UiPath Studio, right? So why I put this slide? So most of you guys are already aware of the studio, but the few of the people like they are very new into the UiPath, right? So I just wanted to share with you guys about the wonderful component called UiPath Studio. So I'm just giving introduction about that. So it's one of the biggest component of the UiPath. So UiPath Studio is nothing but it's I would say like it's an IDE, so integrated development environment of UiPath. So where it's having a user-friendly and intuitive interface, enabling both the technical users or non-technical users. They can design their workflows and they can publish their workflows to the orchestrator, and they can manage this automated process. So I would say Studio is a heart of the automation with the UiPath products. So where like everybody can go and create their workflows. That is very important, right? So it is having a very well advanced activities. So we can use those activities and we can automate complex automations, right? So and also Studio, it is have a ability to connect with a robot, and also we can publish the process to orchestrator. So this UiPath Studio comes up with the two type of profiles. So one is Studio, another one is Studio X. So basically, like why we have a two type of profiles. So one is a Studio, which is used for like a simple to complex automations, but mostly the people who are like very technical or semi-technical people, they can use this Studio profile to automate their complex automations. So where Studio X is coming to a picture with the business users who are having a very low technical knowledge or like no coding experience. So those are like I can give example like in a operations teams. So they don't have a programming experience, but they want to automate the process. So they're like they can choose this Studio X profile and they can automate their own process, right? So going to the next slide. If anybody having any questions, please then stop me if you want. So this slide, this is what significance the UiPath Studio having an RPA industry. So why like it is a biggest hit, right? So I just wanted to highlight a few points about like UiPath Studio capabilities, right? So the first point is unmatched versatility. So why I mentioned like versatility is like, so the UiPath Studio have a capability to automate a different type of applications, uh, web-based applications or mainframe applications, SAP applications. So any kind of applications, even we can automate a legacy applications in our organization, right? So it is having a high versatility. So we can automate any type of applications. Coming to the next point, so enhanced productivity. So by using a UiPath Studio, so it can enhance the productivity of our processes, right? So basically, like we can easily produce a RPA process by using a UiPath Studio. So that's why I mentioned like enhanced productivity. And third one is the rapid implementation. So if you can take like UiPath having a different type of activities, by using those activities, easily we can create a RPA process and we can deploy into production. So we can develop by using a UiPath Studio. So that's why a rapid implementation is possible with the UiPath Studio. So the next point is scalability and flexibility. So by using a UiPath Studio, for example, I want to give you one example. If you choose any RPA process in your organization that belongs to one department, okay, so that particular process it can have some similarity with another department, right? So if we automate this particular process, we can reuse this 80%, 70% of this process to the next process which is similar with another department. So we can easily scale it by using a studio. So the last and wonderful point is like cost savings. So RPA is meant for cost savings and operational efficiency. So we can use a UiPath Studio to automate mundane and repetitive tasks or process and rules-based process, so that like it can save a lot of cost for the organization, and also it can give us operational efficiency, right? So the people who are like doing a mundane work, so we can automate those process, so that like they can concentrate on the much complex process at their end. So these are the points like which make the UiPath Studio is very significant in a RPA industry. So going to the next slide. Okay, so this image, like why I kept UiPath Studio, it is depicting like what is the capabilities in the UiPath Studio, so that makes us to create RPA process very easily. So these are the options, or like I would say like components of the UiPath Studio. Okay, so let me go to one by one. Okay, so first one is the usability. Okay, usability is nothing but for example, like if we are creating an RPA process by using UiPath Studio, it is having a lengthy workflow which is having a lot of activity or sequences. So we can use this command palette or keyboard shortcuts to find out the particular activity where it is available, so that we can directly jump there and we can like modify or something, we can do it. So basically like it's a give a option to universal search, like we can search all the activities. And coming to the productivity, so in the UiPath Studio, we have we have an option to manage our dependencies. So whenever we create a RPA process in a studio, so by default we'll get a default packages like Excel package, mail package, so all these packages. So if we want to add so much like a power to the studio, so we need some new activities. So we can manage these dependencies with those options. And also it is having a lot of settings, activity settings, so we can use those settings to enable the studio to make more visible to the developers, so that like they can create a RPA process easily. And coming to the next point in the same productivity, like selectors. So selectors are nothing but these are like whenever like we are going and automating an application, so we are extracting the properties of the UI elements, right? So those are nothing but a selectors. So these are like giving a like a programmatic experience to the RPA developers. So if they want something, they can modify those selectors and make it very reliable automations, right? So this is meant for them productivity. So going to the next option. So this is a code quality. So by using UiPath Studio, so we can maintain the code quality of the workflows what we have created, right? So here, like, we have a lot of components under code quality. The first one is workflow analyzer. So when RPA developer creates some workflow, so you want to see like whether he coded correctly or not, he can go to the workflow analyzer, which is having the like a stethoscope symbol. So we can call it as like RPA developers like a doctor. So going and treating their workflows. So whether those workflows are little having some issues or something, so they can fix it by using a workflow analyzer. So basically, like, we are imposing some rules, so which are giving a best practices to the workflows. And also we can create a custom rules. So this workflow analyzer come with a default rules, so we can add some more rules, we can customize it. And also we can validate by using this workflow analyzer. So once we successfully validate our process, so it is ready to go for a deployment. So the next one is extensibility. So in this studio, we have a rich set of templates. Okay, so for example, you guys are already aware of that RE framework. So robotic enterprise framework is a template, so which is giving a like lot of advanced option to the RPA developers, so that like they can easily utilize those already having a default features. So, and also we have a browser extensions. So RPA, I mean UiPath Studio have a great capability of automating all the different type of browsers, like a Google Chrome, Edge, and all other different browsers. And also it is having a capability to automate SAP applications and also Citrix-based technology, Citrix applications. So coming to the next point, so debugging is a important feature for any RPA developer need to use. So because whenever like the RPA developer going to create some workflows, so he or she need to debug, right? So whether like the created workflow, it is satisfying our needs or not, I mean requirement. So there, like, debugging come into a picture. So where in the debugging, like, we have a different options. We could use a breakpoints where like we can keep a breakpoints where like we feel that like something is going wrong, or like we want to see whether it is working fine or not. So we could use a breakpoints and anywhere in our workflow. So, and also we have a different panels like immediate, local panel, so that like we could view the results in the runtime itself. And also we nowadays we have a test activity and other testing related activities. And coming to the next point, reusability. So reusability is a very nice feature of a UiPath Studio, where we could create a libraries which is useful to create a reusable components. For example, if I'm working with one automation, so I created one flow for one of the application. So the same type of flow which is applicable to some other application, so we could easily reuse it actually. So by using these libraries, we could create a reusable components. So the last but not least, collaboration. So basically, like UiPath Studio have a capability to connect with different versioning tools in the market. So Git, TFS, SVN. So these integrations also possible. So I'm done with UiPath Studio. So if anybody having any questions, please go ahead, or else like I will jump into the latest features of the UiPath.
You can raise your hands or you can mention the chat so that we can unmute you so that you can ask your queries and get it clarified.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. So let's start with the latest features, what we have here. So so we have a lot of latest features available for the UiPath for the 2023.6 version. So, but I highlighted a few nice features here. The first feature is auto-generated variables for the Windows projects. Okay, what it is? Let's go and highlight some of the interesting thing about this auto-generated variables. So now UiPath Studio have a capability to generate a dynamic variables names without manually creating on Windows projects for the both Studio and Studio X profiles. So now UiPath have a capability to create a dynamic variable. So earlier, like the RPA developer need to use some best practice or naming convention to create a variables. Now UiPath is generating and giving to you guys. Okay. So in the below screenshot, I created a couple of like a drag and drop a couple of activities. First one is build data table, and second one is add data row. So basically, like whenever like I'm using this add data row activity, so if I'm using, so it is automatically creating a variable for the build data table. Okay. So so once I will explain, so I'll go quickly go to the UiPath Studio and I'll just recreate this flow. 1 second. Just opening my studio.
So meantime, if anyone has any queries, you can mention in the chat, or if you'd like to talk and unmute yourself, just raise your hand so that I can help you and unmute you, and then you can ask your queries. Feel free to ask any queries, be it simple or any kind of a question.
Okay, so I'm in my studio. So I've created a simple process. I've given a Chennai virtual meetup. So let's create a basic process. Okay. So who are all not aware of the UiPath Studio? So this is the UiPath Studio, how it look like. Okay, guys. So let me, I'm recreating the same thing, which I already shown in a screenshot. So let's drag and drop a build data table activity. Okay. Okay. So build data table activity is nothing but like we can create a dummy tables with the column names, so that like, I mean, basically like it's a schema so we are creating. So after that, we can add the data whenever we want actually. So I'm clicking this data table and just I'm modifying the, these are the basic columns it give the first time. So I'm just modifying these columns. Okay. So I'm just giving a first name. Okay. It says string type variable column name, string type. Second one is last name, just changing to string. Okay. So this particular build data table, it will give the empty data table, which is having a two columns, first name and last name. Okay. So okay. So right side, you guys could see that I'm just highlighting this activity. If you go to the properties here, you could see that there is, I've not created any variable here in the output, right? So I'll just show you like how UiPath will create a dynamic variable. Let me minimize this one. Okay. So I'm going to the activities panel and selecting one more activity called add data row. So my intention to drag and drop this activity to add the uh, some data into my data table, right? So I've not created any data table, so it automatically create a variable and give it to me. So 1 second, let me give a sample data. So I have taken the first name and last name. I'm giving example like my name itself, and just the first name Kiran Kumar, last name Mahanti. So here like data table section, we need to click a plus sign and use a variable. Here you could see that it automatically giving option that like we can choose the data table here. So if I use this data table value, it is automatically created the variable name. So out build data table one data table with the naming convention, the best practice, right? So if I execute here, this one, because there is no error. So this is how like we can utilize the future of auto generated variables. So in the next like upcoming session, right, I mean upcoming slide, so we could see this future automatically coming for each and every activity. So I'll show you guys. For now, go to the next slide. So, and just sharing this one. Okay. Okay. So earlier version, it was introduced for the cross-platform projects. So now this feature available for the Windows framework. So everyone like try to use this feature. So this is one of feature. So it can save some amount of time of a RPA developer. And this auto-generated variable should make it easier to build workflows. And once Studio automatically create this variable, you guys can see this particular variable in the data manager section, which is holding all the variables and important fields. Okay, so this is for auto-generated variables feature. So the next feature which I would like to highlight, so there are a couple of system activities the UiPath introduced in the latest version. The first one is extract text, and second one is find and replace. So extract text activity, which is very helpful to extract some text from the whole text information. So earlier, you guys are aware of that, like earlier, like we have used this regular expression in UiPath to extract the content from a whole string or whole information. So, but by using this extract text, it is very easy to extract some pattern-based information or some text from the whole information. This is for extract text. And coming to the next activity is find and replace. So this find and replace activity, it simplifies the task of finding and replacing text in your source text. So these are the two activities which are available in the latest release. So let me go back to my studio so that I can show a small demo how these activities would work. Let me disable this. Okay. So I'm just dragging and dropping the extract text. So this extract text having a different options, right? So the first option is a source text. So where we can feed the information for this activity and what to extract. So this is a wonderful feature, isn't it? So we have a lot of options. So if we want to extract a string, a value between two strings, so we can give the two string, so that like in between string we can extract. And also it is having a email addresses. For example, if we have a source of information which is having a multiple email address, so we can extract all the bunch of those email addresses and URLs. So for example, like if any requirement, like we have to extract so many like URLs from the whole of information, so we could use this option to extract URLs. And also it is possible to extract the text from a HTML code. Okay. So for this demo, I just wanted to try with this email address. Okay. So let me go back to my this one here. I have a sample information. So here you guys could see that like this is a like some information I have. So which is having the email ID in between the text. So you could see here like so this is one of the email ID, John Doe at the email.com, and Sarah Smith and Team Retreat. So these are the multiple email IDs available in the whole information. So I want to extract this John Doe and Smith and Team Treat email IDs from the whole text. Okay, so I'm just taking this one. Just copy. So there are two ways we can feed the text. So one is like we could utilize a activity called a read text file. So this is the activity. So by using this activity, we can extract the information from the text file. But for now, like for the demo, like I'm just simply hard coding here. Okay. So you could see here, guys, immediately whenever I feed this whole text, right? So I've selected the option called email addresses. So it is giving me the email addresses available in the whole text. So these are the three email addresses that are available. It was simple. So I'm using the same source for the my another activity. So let me drag and drop, find and replace. Okay, put here. So giving the same text. Okay, so what value I need to find? Okay, so let me back here. So I just wanted to yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Kiran. I
Mm.
think Bala, we have one person has raised this. Would like to clarify a few doubts. I guess I'll just
Okay,
try to unmute him.
okay, sure.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Palani. So the
Hi, Bala.
question I have is right. Okay,
Mm.
yeah, so Kiran, the first one, right? There are a couple of questions. Maybe it is irrelevant here. I'm not sure that. So,
Mhm.
what is the difference between Windows Flows and Windows and SaaS platform? Why we need to use only Windows, or do we need to use Windows only if we are going to create the new projects from now onwards? Even though I have attended one session, but I haven't got to ask this question anyway for one of the community session. That is one thing. And second one, what is the format of if you are using extract emails, right? It will give you more than one. I mean, if the emails is having more than one, is it a string format or it will give you the list format or array? What is the format of output?
So basically, as per my knowledge, right, Bala. So I can call you Bala, right? Sorry. So
Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. So Bala, actually, so this is how it is finding out. So if you earlier versions and all, like we are using the regular expression. So basically, like how we are going with the regular expressions is like, so we are identifying the email IDs with the some text at the rate of ending with the .com or something, like we are using some pattern, right? So here also it is having a by default mechanism. So it is finding out like which is the text which is having a at and it is ending with the .com. So it is producing those results actually. So Palani, if you're pitching, I mean, like if you want to share more information about this, so how it is extracting this activity.
no, that's exactly the same. Like you can mention the text you want and also get the preview. And so I think earlier it was like you will be mentioning the expression and all those things, but this time it is made very pretty simple. So I think Kiran, he pretty much covered everything.
Okay,
But
thank
still,
you.
if you have any queries, you can still ask. Can try to help you out.
Yeah, Bala. So your first question, right? I think like we can take it in the end. So which is not related to the today's session. So we can
Yeah. That's the reason.
yeah, we can discuss in the last. Yeah, if you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Bala. For asking. So,
Hi, Kiran. Vikram here.
hi, Vikram.
So, yeah. So the question here is like, can we put the regex pattern in what to extract that field?
No. So Vikram, actually, this is to avoid the usage of a
Rejects
complex regular
code. Yeah.
expressions. So
But
because like it is making it as a simple. So still you have the regular expression option in your, like you could use a .NET functions or regular expressions to extract the information from the whole text. But here like they're simplifying actually. For example, if any business users they want to extract so this type of text from the whole information, so they could utilize these simple activities. So that is a
okay, yeah, got it. But if the text is having the source text is having some complex things, and with the help of this text, can we achieve those things, or like we are still exploring more on that?
so like this here like we have options, right? One second, let me go back here. So here like there are like 4 options they have given actually. For example, it should, I mean, like
Okay.
your requirement should meet this criteria. So some text here you wanted to get extract from some text between 2 strings, you could try this one. Or like if you have some requirement to extract email address or URLs or text from HTML code. So these are the basic things actually.
Got
So
it. Got it.
for this and all, like we no need to go for regular expressions. So that is
Yeah, got it. Got it. Yeah, I'm clear, Kiran. Thanks.
thank you, Vikram.
Kiran, also can you show the output type in the property panel, because we have got a question in chat.
Yeah, got it. Let me.
I think it should be string, obviously, but just to show them.
Yeah, so here, like, I mean, the output for this particular activity. So first one is like it is retrieving the first email address. So this one is the string format. So, and the second output, it is giving the all the email addresses like a array output. So that like you could use a for each activity and you can just loop it and get um, all the email IDs. So if you want, I can just showcase here. Let me. So earlier I've mentioned that like it is auto-generated. So I'm using the results, right? One of the option property of the extract text. So given the results, so it is automatically generated a variable. So this is a list variable. Okay. So basically, like I'm using a for each to get each and every email ID from the list of the email IDs which produced by the extract text. So let me put a log message. Just selecting the current item. Okay, and log level and just information. So let's run and see. Okay, so this is the output panel. You could see that all the three email IDs extracted, right? So I'm just printing in this output panel by using log message activity. So I hope I answered the question. So let me proceed, or do we have any more questions?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Kiran. Please proceed. Yeah.
Thank you, Palani. Just going back to the presentation mode. So I completed the couple of features. Going to the third one. So just wanted to highlight some new features about the different component of UiPath actually. Okay. So this UiPath Assistant, right? So they released a feature called UiPath Assistant PIP. So earlier we do have the PIP mode, but like if for this new feature, if we enable in the UiPath Assistant, so basically the attended developers. So if something is running in unattended in a robot, right? So we could view those process and we can minimize or like we can keep it some place in our desktop or like some right side or I mean to the corner. So we could see like how the bot is executing the process, and also the attended user can do their important work in their mission. So that is a feature of this UiPath Assistant PIP, picture in picture. And also that it is having the UiPath improved some features in the UiPath Assistant. Basically, like if we run some process, okay, so there like we could see some more information in the UiPath Assistant actually. So basically, like it is having a multi-line comments and statuses. So I have given a small screenshot which is having the a detailed information about like the recent execution, right? So here, like it is having a multi-line comment. So what is happening, like what type of data we used, processed. So here, like you could see that invoice got processed with how much amount and what is the status of the invoice, whether it is processed or rejected. So these kind of a lot of information now it is having, the UiPath is having assistant, sorry. So going to the next feature. So this feature is related to the integrations, and also now UiPath Studio have a capability to automate the IT automations. So basically, like where IT automations are nothing but like, I'm giving example like onboarding an employee through Azure Active Directory, or a customer onboarding. So these kind of IT automations, it is possible with the UiPath. So left side screenshot, you could see that the UiPath Studio now have a capability to have a lot of packages which is related to the Azure and also other cloud vendors. So here the screenshot, if I selected Azure in the all packages section, so it is giving the bunch of packages which is helpful to create a IT automations wherever like the Azure is there. So this future, like I think like earlier we are using some Active Directory packages. So here like we have a lot of other activities which is related to the Azure. So this is the one thing. And second, the right side screenshot, you could see that. So there are like predefined templates which is available in the UiPath Studio web related to Azure Active Directory, onboarding employee through Azure Active Directory, customer onboarding, and also customer onboarding which is like involving the Salesforce and ServiceNow, and also OpenAI. Okay, so let me just go back to my like I'm just open my cloud orchestrator and just quickly show you guys. So I'm opening cloud orchestrator. So in the cloud orchestrator, UiPath Studio Web is one of the component, right? I'm just clicking the Studio Web. So these are the lot of templates you guys could see. So here I'm just typing Azure, just finding out like what are the templates we have related to Azure. I think it's searching. Sorry. Yeah. So if I filter this all the templates with Azure, so these are the 4 like predefined templates are available. So start utilizing it, and it is I'm very sure like it will be very helpful for your IT automations. So just wanted to showcase like this new feature. That's it. Going back to the orchestrator. Going back to the presentation. So I've covered all the latest features of UiPath. So coming to the interesting topic, right? Our headline. So coded automations, okay, in Studio. So what are these coded automations actually? So till now, like UiPath is meant for the low code automation, right? So we have the lot of activities in UiPath Studio, which we can easily drag and drop, and we can automate our process. Like UiPath created a survey actually. Okay, so in the next slide, like which I have that pie chart. Anyway, like I'm going to explain. So basically, like UiPath got to know that like RPA developers are looking for some programming based automations. So that's why they introduced this coded automations. Basically, like now we have a capability that in UiPath Studio we can create a program and we can automate. So these low code capabilities helped so much for the user to develop their RPA process. But however, RPA developers who are willing to use some programming, right? So they have like a more technical knowledge. They find that low code automations are like having some disadvantages, right? So for example, always like RPA developers, if they are dealing with some complex automations, so they feel that drag and drop these low code activities difficulty to use, right? So if we drag and drop continuously, so if we are using for some like a lot of activities for the complex automation, it looked like a big flow chart or something like a diagram. So that like sometimes they feel that it is difficulty to use, and also it is having a very less flexibility. So if we have a lot of for example, like if somebody is doing a drag and drop in a sequence for the medium size process, medium complexity of process, so they feel that it is like they less flexible to handle it. So somewhere like we need to modify or like we need to reorganize it. It is feeling a little take a little difficulty, right, to handle it. So, and also very hard to maintain. So if we want to modify something, so it is like we have to go to that particular activity, and it is very tough to handle it. So that's why like for the RPA developers who want some programming language to automate, so they have these coded automations. So this is this coded automation in a public preview mode. So like the people like a public can start accessing it and create your workflows and start sharing the feedback to UiPath. So going to the next slide. So just wanted to highlight the capabilities of the coded automations, and the right side the pie chart. Like I just wanted to share the what survey survey results for the UiPath created survey for this coded workflows. So the first point is higher productivity. So when we start using the coded automations, so it can give a higher productivity. So we could easily automate a complex process with the programming, and also this is not like a normal traditional programming. This is like very easy. So I will show you a demo. We could use UiPath Studio, and we could easily create this a simple programming. So if we use this for the coded automation for the complex process, so it can give a higher productivity and also better complexity management. So when we write a program for the complex automation, easily we can modify, or some change request is coming, so we can modify this program very easily comparing to the low code. And also third point is increased collaboration. For suppose if any RPA process which is very complex, so like 4 to 5 RPA developers are working with the same project, easily they can collaborate if they're working with the programming aggregates. So this is like just wanted to highlight. And fourth point is improved readability. So always like programming will give some readability, very much readability, because like all the code in one place, right? So easily we can read it. And also the last point is higher performance. So this coded automation can give a higher performance. So when we start executing the program, right, so you could see the feel the like a speed, like how it is automating. So based on that, like I just wanted to highlight this one. So it can give a higher performance like comparing to the low code. So right side pie diagram, pie chart, you guys could see that like UiPath conducted a survey on this. So there are like 40% of the people who are very much technical. So they want this coded automations. And also the 35% you could see in the left side, the one area. So these are the non-technical people or semi-technical people. So they also shown an interest about this coded workflows. Sorry, semi-technical people 25%. So basically like 65% of the people, so they shown an interest. So wherever like 35% of the non-technical people, so who don't have a coding experience, so they can still use the low code platform and utilize the capabilities of the UiPath. So basically like and also I would say like we could use a both low code activity and these coded automations. So we can create some hybrid automation, so that like it is like very much like we are kind of like collaborating with low code and coded workflows, right? So this is it. So and also like how we are managing it, this coded automations, or what are the important points about coded automations are coded automations can be used in any automation scenario. So we could use for the complex automations, and these are the activities currently it is supporting. Okay, so first one is UiPath system activities, and UiPath UI automation activities, and UiPath testing activities. So these are the three activity packages now supporting the coded automations. So in future they will release for the some more activities, I hope definitely. The second point is the coded automations can be helpful for the users who are very much experienced automation developers, and who are all familiar with frameworks like a Selenium, a Java program, Selenium framework, and other scripting frameworks. And also who are all working with the complex automations where a lot of logic need to be established. So these users can use these coded automations. And I just wanted to share a big note to RPA developers. So they can create these coded workflows and integrate with the low code workflows, which I told, right? So we can use this already. We have the activity called invoke workflow activity. So we could use these basic activities, and we can integrate these two things so that like we can easily collaborate with the business people. So so I would say like the citizen developer can create some minimum viable product or MVP. So he could create a MVP by using a low code platform or workflow, low code automation, and they will give this MVP to RPA COE team. So RPA COE team can use the coded automation. They can enhance this process, and they can deploy into production. So this collaboration can happen by using this approach. So currently this coded automation supporting both Visual Basic and C# languages. Okay, so I think I'm done with the presentation. So before going to the demo, so anybody have any questions till now, please go ahead, or else we can jump into a demo.
Yes, Vikram, I think you have raised your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Please,
Bhavani.
Yeah.
So Kiran, see, while integrating coded and low code both the things, right? We already have activity, right? Invoke workflow or invoke kind of activities. With that, like we can just pass our CS file and we can just do it, right? But why this coded automation is necessary?
No. See, you're talking about like invoke code activity. Am I right, Vikram?
Yeah, invoke code activity.
Yeah. So basically, the difference what I'm seeing, right, Vikram. So when I'm using the invoke code activity earlier, for example, like if I need to do a complex Excel automation, so I want to create some complex pivot, so I could use some VB or C# to create those program by using invoke code activity, right? So now in the coded automation, what I could see, so it is like a, for example, if you are aware of that Eclipse, right? I think like I hope you are aware of it. So the Eclipse, you could see IDE. So wherever like the programming, it can, so we can choose some suggestions. It can give some suggestions. It's basically like a development environment. So you could see that invoke code activity, it's not like a development environment. You cannot get, you cannot get any suggestions or nothing. So, but this one is like typically is IDE, this coded workflow, right? Typically IDE, you can get a more suggestions. It is like very interactive. So, but basically, like invoke code activity, I felt that it don't have that much capability, like giving a suggestions. It's not like idea like a simple like a notepad, like we can write up some program so that like we can link with our workflows. That's what I felt actually. So this is giving like more opportunity to create a nice programming.
Okay, Kiran. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Vikram.
Yes, Jobin, please.
Kiran, can I pitch in?
Yeah, please, Jobin.
I would like to add one more differences here. So when we are using the invoke code activity, the main thing is technically that is a synchronous
Jobin,
invoke
sorry to
method.
interrupt. Your voice is a little feeble. Maybe is it only for me or?
I'm able to hear Palani actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Even it's good for me.
Yeah.
Good for you, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So when we are talking about the invoke code, right? Technically, it's an asynchronous invoke method. So let's think about a situation there where you want to call an asynchronous method. You don't want to wait the code to invoke to continue with the next step. If you're getting such kind of situations, this feature will definitely beneficial for all of us. There are other purposes as well. Let's say, in instance, you have a huge JSON file with you. You want to pass it on your own way. That's going to be a custom logic. You want to build a code which having n number of regions. On such instances, we can definitely go with this option. I personally feel that will be this option will be definitely beneficial for all of us.
Okay. That is very insightful, Jobin. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vikram, for your question. I hope like you got some answer. Satisfying you, man.
Yeah, Kiran. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's go to the demo. So I'm just taking the same demo like which everybody using now actually. So that UI bank demo. So just wanted to give a small demo like how can we create a coded workflows to automate this UI bank application. Okay. Let me just okay. So I'm just going to the manage packages and show you guys. So basically like this, we have like a couple of packages, the UI automation package and system package. You guys could see that. So these are in 23.6.1 preview. So if anybody want to use this coded workflows, this one, so they should have the version 23.6.0 or above for this UI automation package and system package. So that is mandatory. So then only we can utilize this wonderful feature. Okay. So this is one thing I just want to show before going to demo. And so where we can have this coded workflows. So if you guys wanted to create some sequence, you're going to that new, or like if you want to create some workflow or flow chart. So we are going to this new section, right? So the same way for the coded workflow also, we need to go to this new section and start clicking so that like you will get one coded workflow interface. Okay, so here like you could see that there are like 3 different type of coded interfaces. First one is a coded workflow and test case and code source file. So these are the three coded workflows are available for the preview, public preview. So I'm just selecting the studio one. Okay. So the name. Just giving a UiPath demo. Start creating it. So once I create, so it's automatically create a one file, workflow file, which is having an extension called .cs. So that means C# class file. So so once we create this coded workflow, so you could see here in the top section, it is consuming all the different packages, right? So it's consuming the set of system packages here, and the below you could see that there are like 2 to 3 different UI automation packages. Okay. Packages, and also it is utilizing the core packages and orchestrator packages, and also it is have a capability to automate the test workflows, so that like it is utilizing the testing packages too. Okay. So the namespace is our project process name, and so the workflow name is UiPath demo, and coded workflow is the I would say like a base class, so which is coming from the coded workflow package here. This one is the coded workflow package, and so this here the execute is nothing but it is just entry point, I would say entry point. So whenever like we execute this particular coded workflow, the execution will start from here. Okay. So currently we have only one log message, hello from coded workflows. So just wanted to execute. So how like we are the low code automation, what we whenever like we do a low code automation. So if you want to execute a process, we are going and just clicking play button. The same way we can debug and just executing this simple workflow, which is by default given by the UiPath Studio. So if you execute here, you could see that in output section. So this is printing the hello from coded workflows from the log message activity. So that program, like simple coding, it automatically given, right? So it is printing the hello from code workflows in the output section. Okay. So this is how we can execute this CS files. So let me minimize this one again. Okay. So for to proceed with the demo, so just wanted to highlight one thing is, so whenever like we are doing the low code automation, we are utilizing the object repository. Am I right? So basically like object repository is holding the UI element and screens. The similar way we could use this UI elements and screens from the object repository, and we can easily use those screens and UI element in our coded workflows. So let me open the UiPath application. So what I would like to automate in the UiPath application is, so this is the UiPath demo application. So I just wanted to log in into this UiPath application. So once successful login, I want to create one application form. That's it. So this is the small demo which I would like to show it today's session. For to log into this particular UiPath, so I just need the username and password. And once I enter username and password, I need to click a sign in button to go inside, right? So I would use this object repository. Okay. So I'm in the object repository. So clicking a plus button, so that we can create a application, right? So I'm just giving an application name called UiPath. So where like we are trying to automate this one. Application. Okay, so I'm just creating this application, UiPath application. So here, once I create the application, you could see here like one entry we have received in this object repository section. UiPath, the version is 1.0.0. For this application, so what I would need, so I need a 3 UI elements. So one is user ID, and second one is a password, third one is sign in button. So I just want those 3 UI elements. Before that, like I need some screen, right? So basically like I am going to use the login screen. So let me create one screen first. So I'm just calling it as a UI UiBank login screen. Let me indicate. Okay. Just capture the whole screen. I'm just creating a screen in the object repository. Okay. So we got the UiBank login screen. So inside of the screen, I need those 3 UI elements. So first one, so here like you could have a lot of options, right? So I just wanted to create one element here. So let me click create element. I'm giving a user name. Simple name. Let's just indicate. Click enter username. And also anchor label. Click confirm. Okay. So now we have a screenshot. So this is related to the username field. Just clicking save. Okay. Now we received one UI element. So let's go to the next. So I'm creating another UI element for password. Okay, let's indicate. Just clicking here in the enter password, taking the password label as an anchor, confirm. Okay, so this one is ready. I'm just clicking save. Now you could see a couple of UI elements. One is username and password. So one more UI element we need. So that is sign in button. Sign in button. Let's just take sign in. Highlighting sign in. Always we can get the forgot password maybe. So first I'm just clicking this one and selecting forgot password as my anchor. Save. So now we have 3 UI elements which we require. Okay, now we have an object repository is ready with this login screen and needed a UI element. Let's dock it. Okay, so let me utilize this log message. So before logging in, right? So we would need the user ID and password. Am I right? So let's see. We can extract the credential from an orchestrator or not. Retrieve credential from cloud orchestrator. Okay. So before that, I just wanted to go to the cloud orchestrator and just show you. Okay, so this is my default environment workspace. Inside of this, I created one asset. So I'm in asset section. So I've already created an asset called UiBank credential. So I'm going to utilize this UiBank credential asset, and I will retrieve the credential by using some program. Okay, so earlier I mentioned that like we could utilize the system and UI automation packages. Am I right? So let's use a system package. So before that, I wanted to create one variable, UiBank user ID. Okay, so one variable I need, and so I can use the system package, the coded workflow. Just giving a dot here, you could see that there are a lot of methods which are available in this class. So here like add data row, add queue item, add transaction item, and even we have bulk add queue items. So there are a lot of functions or methods are available we could utilize. So currently for our requirement, like we would need the get credential, right? So we wanted to retrieve the credential from orchestrator, so we would need this method. So if you just keep a brackets, you could see what is the syntax of this particular function. So currently it is asking like, okay, so we need to enter the asset name, right? So let's enter the asset name. So this is the credential asset. Going back to the studio, entering it. So, and also I just wanted to see the rest of the syntax. So if we click a comma, so here it is asking like, okay, folder path. So I'm in a default folder. I don't want to enter any folder name here. So let's click one more question mark. Here you could see that. So we can retrieve the password. by like a out argument or out variable, right? So let me get the password. Just giving a name like UA Bank PWD. So always we need to end with a semicolon. Okay, now I got the credential. So basically, like to retrieve the credentials, so we have the .NET function called system.net.network credential. The same thing, like we are going to use it here. Okay, where bank password. I'm just initializing. So this is not a system. I mean system class of the coded workflow. It is like a .NET functionality. I'm going to use it. So that's why like I'm giving the capital S in the system. Dot. You could see that like a lot of things are coming. So I'm just taking net dot network credential. I think like we can take a blank or string dot empty. Let's take, okay. I think this is the statement we are going to retrieve the credentials. Okay, so first one, it is retrieving the UI Bank user ID, and second one is retrieving the UI Bank password. So now I have the user ID and password. So let's create one screen, login screen. We can create a variable. A login screen. So this is all the UI elements are getting a screen or getting a I mean UI element. We need to use a UI element pack class. Sorry, your automation. Yeah, UI automation, sorry, not a UI element. UI automation class dot. So whenever we are going with like opening any screen or login screen or like some summary screen or landing page or something, so we need to use the open method. Here I'm using the open method. So I'm going to the object repository and to see like what is the name I've given. Me click edit. I'll take the exact screen name. I'll go and put here. Okay. So now we have a login screen. So with this variable, I can call the so I can enter the some data into that user ID and password, and also we can click the sign in. So I'm utilizing this login screen variable dot. Here you could see that like it is giving a lot of options. The first one is I need to enter the username. So let's search for type into. Here is the type into. Just selecting this one. So what is the type into UI element? This one username. Let's take this element name. Save here. Okay. So I'm just entering the user ID. I'm just taking this variable and passing here. And with a semicolon. I can just copy paste and so we just reuse it. So the next one is password. We need to enter. So let me go back to this here. Username and password. Just taking the exact element name. Password. I'm just taking the password from here. Okay, so next one is not a type into method, it's not possible. So we need to click the button. So we would need a click method. So it is in first starting itself. Let's utilize that. Okay. So for the actions like click or a select item, so those type of actions, we don't need to pass any variable, right? So just we are doing action. So here, like for the click, I'm just taking the UI element name, sign in, just passing directly. Okay. Okay, I think so. This is a basic flow. It is ready. So let's start executing it. Okay. Okay. So I'm just closing this one. So I'm having this UI bank application open. So let's start. So it is retrieving the credentials. Start entering those credentials and clicking sign in button. So now you guys could see that I'm in home page. So I'm successfully logged in. So for the better readability, what we can do, so we could utilize the log messages. So for example, like here we can put and we can mention like logging into the UI bank application, so that like you guys could see the logs. And also once it is successful, we could utilize this log message here and saying like successfully logged into UI bank application. So like this, we could utilize the log messages. Okay. So earlier I was saying that like we could integrate the low code and coded workflows, right? Like a hybrid automations. So let's use one low code activity. Okay. So basically like we could use a open, let's do this user application or browser. Okay. So I'm just indicating the application. Sorry, 1 second. Just log out. Okay, I'm in login page now. So let's indicate. Okay. So basically like I'm just using this low code activity. So I'm just opening the application by using a low code. And after that, I will use the coded workflows to automate the rest of the stuff. So for this, I need to earlier when as discussed. So we need the invoke workflow activity, right? So I'm just dragging and dropping the invoke workflow activity. Okay. Let's talk this one. So the same way, like if we are using any low code, right? So if we are using a different sequences or workflow, so we could call those sequences from invoke workflow file, right? So the similar way for the .cs, this coded workflow flow also we could call from by using invoke workflow file. So let me just clicking the browse for file. Going here, so by default I could see that this drop down selected for the YAML files and other format. So let's select for all files so that like you could see that .cs file, UiBank demo.cs. Let's select. So now we have an integration, right? So basically like I'm launching here and connecting with this invoke workflow file so that it can call the UiBank demo.cs file. The same execution, let's see one more time. Let's play. So just now executed. So it is using a use application or browser activity and opening the UI bank login screen, entering user ID and password and clicking sign. So successful. So basically like this, we can integrate uh, the low code and this coded workflows. In the similar way, in the coded workflows also, we could use the program to invoke, like it is like a vice versa. I mean, so in this side also we could invoke, and from the low code also we can invoke. Okay. So I'm in the home page. Okay, and also we could use a small exception handling also, like we could use a try catch methods. So basically like so let me put a try catch, a simple try catch, sorry. So if any exception, it may occur in this particular program like we have written. So we can capture those exceptions by using a try catch mechanism. So let me put the entire this script in the try block. Okay, so it is in try block now. So basically like so I am expecting some exception for this code, so that I'm just keeping this whole code in the try block. So let me put the catch now. Catch exception testing is legend like a e dribble, and so if any exception happen, I just wanted to share with you guys like what is the exception. So I just put a log message activity. Let's take this one. Let's reuse. So I'm just saying like bot is unable to log in UI bank application. Just wanted to print like what is the error message I'm getting. So this is a variable. If you just click a dot, it will show you a possible options. Let's take a message. So this is the way like we can use a exception handling mechanism for this flow. You guys can explore and use it rigorously, so that like you will get into it. I mean, so how could we use effectively this exception mechanisms? So similar way, like I just wanted to automate a few simple stuff like so I'm going to click this apply for a loan option. So and after that it will go to the intermediate page, like which I need to click one more time, that a loan apply, so that it will reach the loan details page, and there I'm going to enter like 5 more fields actually. I think we don't have much time, I guess. So let's stop here, Palani, or like if you want me to proceed further.
Yes, Kiran, maybe with the interest of time, if you would like to share anything more important, we'll take
Uh,
another 2-3 minutes and then we can.
I'll almost covered. Just wanted to tell one thing actually to the audience. So basically, like we can split into this program into a multiple workflow files, and we can integrate them with the invoke workflow. So here, like the similar way, like for example, if we create any workflow in a low code platform, so we are creating an in argument out argument. The same way here we could create an in argument out argument. If something is successful, so we can pass the value information into the another flow. So and also just wanted to highlight one point. So just want to tell you, so I have seen a latest article from the job in, so our fellow MVP. So that is very wonderful article. So let's go and just see, so that like you will get some good idea. Okay, so thank you everyone, thank you so much for this opportunity.
So before we leave, maybe can everyone turn on your camera? I think we have one question. Prashant and maybe whoever has any question, I would recommend to reach out to us, maybe through an offline, and we can have a discussion and try to clarify your doubts anything in regards to this coded automation or any new features with UiPath Studio, either Kiran, Lalasa, or myself, or even Jobin, who has written the recent blog on the coded workflow automation, you can try to reach us and we'll definitely help you out, considering the interest of time and also the others' time. Would recommend everyone who possibly they can turn on your camera so that I can take a quick picture to just share it in the social media, like LinkedIn. Anyone would like to? Yeah. Still join. Thanks, Vikram. Thanks, Arvind. Thanks, Vibhav. Cool.
Nice to see you guys, Gokul, Vikram, Jobin. So just one last, I want to say, Palani, actually. So thank you so much to you actually for this opportunity.
No, man,
Yeah.
it was so informative, and thanks to you. Thanks for your time. I know it was a busy schedule for you, but still you drove it really well. I highly appreciate.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone who have joined this session. We'll see you soon with another interesting topic. And if you'd like to be a speaker, like how Kiran delivered a session today, you can reach us to the group or to me or to Lalasa, so that we can see like which slot is available and what topic can be discussed, and we'll take it from there. Thanks once again. Thanks everyone for joining today.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Kiran, for your wonderful session. It was very informative.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.
Bye, Kiran. Bye, Palani.
Bye. Bye, Palani.
Thank you.